Two very different worlds. The movers and shakers of our society seem oblivious to the terrible destruction wrought by the economic storm that has roared through America. They've heard some thunder, perhaps, and seen some lightning, and maybe felt a bit of the wind. But there's nothing that society's leaders are doing. No sense of urgency in their policies or attitudes that suggests they understand the extent of the economic devastation that has come crashing down all around like a plague on the poor and much of the middle class. The American economy is on its knees, and the suffering has reached historic levels. Nearly 44 million people were living in poverty last year, which is more than 14% of the population. That is an increase of some 4 million over the previous year, the highest percentage in 15 years, and the highest number in more than a half a century of record keeping. And millions more are teetering on the edge, poised to fall into poverty. Meantime, in the political world, it seems to be business as usual. More than a quarter of all blacks and a similar percentage of Hispanics are poor. More than 15 million children are poor. The movers and shakers, including most of the mainstream media, have paid precious little attention to this wide-scale economic disaster. Meanwhile, the middle class, hobbled for years with the stagnant incomes that go with extreme employment insecurity, is now in retreat. Joblessness, home foreclosures, personal bankruptcy, pick your poison. Median family incomes were 5% lower in 2009 than they were a decade earlier. The Harvard economist Lawrence Katz told the Times, "This is the first time in memory that an entire decade has produced essentially no economic growth for the typical American household." So, what will it take? Maybe a full-blown depression for policymakers to decide that they need to take extraordinary additional steps to cope with this drastic economic and employment emergency. Nothing currently on the table will turn things around in a meaningful way. We're facing a jobs deficit of approximately 11 million, which is about how many new ones we'd have to create just to get our heads above water. It will take years, yes, years, just to get employment back to where it was when the Great Recession struck in December 2007. If Republicans take over the policy levers, could it be any different? The party of the Republicans, with its tax cuts for the rich and obsession with the deregulatory free market zealotry that brought us the Great Recession, will only accelerate the mass march into poverty. The GOP could easily further shred the safety net and wants to give corporations even greater clout over already debased workers, and wants to fatten the coffers of the already obscenely rich. Yes, this time it's different. There's never been times like these before, and there'll never be times like these again. So, while working people are suffering the torments of joblessness, underemployment, and dwindling compensation, corporate profits have rebounded, and the financial sector is once again living the high life. This helps to keep the people at the top comfortably in denial about the extent of the carnage. Millions and millions of struggling voters have no idea which way to turn. They are suffering under the status quo. In other words, business as usual. But those with any memory at all are afraid of a rerun of the catastrophic George W. Bush era. An Associated Press article based on recent polling summed the matter up glum, and distrusting. A majority of Americans today are very competent in nobody. What is desperately needed is leadership that recognizes the depth and intensity of the economic crisis facing so many ordinary Americans. It's past time for the movers and shakers to lift the shroud of oblivion and reach out to those many millions of Americans trapped in a world of hurt. And there's something much bigger going on here. Everything that must change rapidly or quickly, because these are the end times, transition days. Habakkuk chapter 2. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. 2. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. In the last days they shall understand it perfectly. 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. 5. Yes, also, because he transgresses by wine. He is a proud man, neither keeps at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations, and heaps unto him all people. 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increases that which is not his! How long? And to him that ladles himself with thick clay. 7. Shall there not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the cities, and of all that dwell therein. And yes, there are many different kinds of signs happening all around the world. And the Great Recession, or whatever have you call it, is continuing. And all these are more signs.